What's going on, guys? It's the Skylander dude back here with another video. And don't mind the change of scenery, I'm sitting in my college dorm. And I want to quickly intro this by saying if you missed the Toys for Bob Skylanders 10-year anniversary stream, then you may have missed the next clip. Basically, before the stream, Toys for Bob tweeted out asking for questions to be asked, and out of over 400 questions, only 4 were answered during the stream, one of which being mine. I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity because there were so many other great questions that I honestly wish they had the time to answer during that stream. But without further ado, here is the clip from the live stream. I did add some small editing to the clip, but besides that, please enjoy because I'm sure you can imagine how excited I was to see it live.
Cool. And I guess that's a great segue on just talking about switching up to Skylanders, because it leads us to the question from the Skylander dude on Twitter, which I will ask our entire panel of guests here. Which playable or non-playable character did you have the most fun working on? Or, if you didn't work on characters, playing with? So I figure, since they're playing right now, Ray, Toby, favorites?
I have to say Prison Break, and that's not just because I happen to have from Giants, which I probably shouldn't be playing here, but my special Light Core Employee Edition version.
Oh boy.
I know. But yeah, his ability to just make mischief with dropping rocks that then reflect.
Some call them crystals.
Some people do. They'd be wrong. But yeah, his ability to deliver a hot laser death, as Jeff Griffin would say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For me, it was
yeah.
Ghost Roaster. For the mere reason that he had a really interesting dynamic where to use his kind of go ethereal power, he actually had to sacrifice some HP. He lost health, which is not something people like to do. And it's cool that made it the ship version of the game. Along similar lines, Trigger Happy, who used to be known as the Golden Cheat, he actually shot his own money, so he would lose gold as he was attacking enemies, which was a really interesting dynamic. He could also steal gold from enemies, but we ended up not shipping with that because people love their gold too much, and we thought that would be a popular choice.
There's also a lot of people who weren't realizing that as they were shooting, the treasure was going down.
Mike, what's your favorite?
Wrecking Ball. Because he's the most adorable Skylander until Chopper, way later in the series. But no, I mean, in a series full of monsters that all had spikes and sharp edges, we had this one little round, gigantic-eyed, long-tongued, adorable whatever the hell it is, right? And I loved it, and I loved that it was a pinball and it'd shoot all around. Anyway, yeah, Wrecking Ball.
Very cool. Pollyann, favorite?
Yeah, I think I have to agree on this. I have a soft spot in my heart for little chibi-like characters, and usually like the proportions are either they're 1 or 2 heads tall. So like Trigger Happy, definitely Chopper. Chopper was the dinosaur one, right? And that one was a great one. And like Pop Fizz. Those characters were just so bouncy and squishy and so small and cute, but devastating at the same time.
Gotta go back and get our stuff.
I'd have to also say Wrecking Ball. I just loved seeing. I worked on the levels, so I didn't really know. And when I was testing them, we'd have little chips to test out the characters, and I could drop it in there. And so this weird blue ball rolling around, and immediately fell in love with it. Yeah, just so much character. If I had to get past the level, though, I would have to use Drobot just because lasers, and he was for work, but if I could just enjoy a level, I would use Wrecking Ball.
Chris Nelson?
Well, I was going to say Drobot too. The reason for that, though, is because that was the one of the characters I designed an ability for. It was the hover strafe, where you could just strafe side by side and move slowly and aim accurately. But in terms of the entire cast, I was really happy when this guy, the Chompy Mage, became playable. I worked on the Chompy Mage boss battle, and there was a lot of bullet hell inspiration for that, obviously, and Drobot as well. So you'll see that in a lot of my work. I think Skylanders is such a fun thing for us to work on because we can put our passions into it. There's like so many ways each of us can bring what we like from video games and put it into the Skylanders.
Very true. Andy.
It's tough because I animated quite a few of them. It's like choosing between your kids. But if I had to pick, I mean, Trigger Happy is really high on the list. Working on him was a blast. And he did come a long way during development. And I remember when I first started animating him, you get this character that's basically a raindrop with arms and legs sticking out of his head. And it's like, how are you supposed to do anything without, a spine or a waist or knees? I mean, he's just a little guy. But it actually just was very freeing. So you were able to just animate basic shape movement around the screen and have as much fun with it as you wanted. And I just thought that was really a blast to animate. And then Chop Chop would be the other one that I had a soft spot for, because working with the designer on that, we had a really good, it was Nat Lowe, I think, was the designer on that one. And we had a really good back and forth on Chop Chop, and we had a lot of ideas for what he was supposed to be. And I do remember his animation folder was just a wasteland of ideas that we tried, it didn't work. I mean, at one point he had a 9-way attack combo, and you could switch back and forth between the A and the B button, which would go sword, shield, shields. Like, however you finished your combo would be, the finisher would be based on the other two attacks that were in the 3-part combo. It was just like, it was way too complicated, but it was also really cool. And we could just do just amazing things with them. And that goes for all the Skylanders. They just all kind of evolved as you played along, and you worked on them and got to all such interesting places.
Very cool. Yeah, and as for me, I've got a giant zoom background of my favorite here. I've got Double Trouble peeking in over my shoulder. I love the character, how he plays. I loved the personality. It always felt really great to feel smart, kind of kiting the enemies and leaving little Double Troubles behind you that would take them out for you. But also, I just also loved the tiki kind of style of the character, especially when I'd always come and visit the Toys for Bob studio, because all of our, cubicle areas and everything have kind of thatched, bamboo appearances. You can kind of see it behind Toby and Ray, and so it always just felt like a perfect fit for the game in the studio.
And Double Trouble didn't always look like that.
That is true. Who wants to tell the story of what Double Trouble used to look like?
I don't know if there's a story, but I remember his name, we used to call him Mesmorph Wizard. All of these characters, we would have like 50 different names. It would be super confusing because in the tool, we would save it as one thing, and then later on, it functionally changes to something else, and we would call it something else.
Somebody would spell it wrong.
For the longest time, he was like more of a conventional, traditional wizard, and he had like the big, long beard. There's certain personalities at Activision that was not really a big fan of the things that came out of the nerd dungeon, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it was also like, kids don't want to play as old people.
Case in point, Bomb Troll, who eventually became Boomer.
Mm-hmm.
He
Most popular.
I think it was his gray beard. Oh yeah, he never came back, did he? Here's my original Boomer.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Still with the beard pants.
He dyed his pants. Became more youthful. Old beardy pants.
I do remember talk about whether or not green Skylanders were the problem. Like, if it was just green Skylanders weren't selling. Right. And was that what it was, Paul? Was it green Skylanders?
That was one of the thoughts.
There were many theories
because of
that.
Stealth,
A lot of analysis.
Did great, yeah.
That's true.
The exception, not the rule.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, because they were worried about female Skylanders selling too, and then Stealth Elf did great. So who knows? Analysis is analysis.
It's true.